Howdy guys, and welcome to Cliff Notes and welcome to a recap of night number 6 of Big Brother season 25, broadcasting for one final time from Cancun, Mexico. Yeah, going home a little bit later today. It's going to be tough on an airplane, not able to watch these live feeds for a few hours because it's been interesting to say the least. Remember, I guess a day or two ago I said, Kirsten's going home. It may be kind of boring here for a few days until we get the next HOH and all of that. Yeah, not so much. Started off as a pretty standard night yesterday, our standard day, and then we had a little fun in the form of Chaos Cameron. Yeah, I thought Izzy was playing a hard, busy, energetic game. I don't know what happened to Cameron. He suddenly decided that he wanted to take control, turn on a switch inside him or something. I don't know, but we had a very interesting evening because of Cameron. So we're going to talk all about that. Now, first of all, let's talk about kind of the status of the house right now. We did have the veto ceremony yesterday. Hysam had one veto. He had indicated he wasn't going to use it. He didn't use it. So as a result, we still have the original 2 nominees. I say original. We start off with 4 nominees, Corey and Jared and Felicia and Kirsten. Riley had pulled off Jared and Corey. As a result now, with Hysam not using the veto, it's going to come down Thursday night to either Kirsten or Felicia going home. Almost certainly it's going to be Kirsten. I think after some of the things that happened overnight, it's even more likely that it's going to be Kirsten. So I think the eviction is set, pretty much set in stone for Thursday. But whoever wins this HOH could change everything that's taking place in the house. And I feel like there's going to be a lot of realignments taking place because of some of the things that happen. Now, talking about that, we think we know who's going home. But the other big news of the house is that it's very much, for now, split into 2 big alliances, 7 or 8 people on both sides. Depends on how you want to call the shots for Jared and which side he's aligned with. We know he's in with Cirie's group and all that, but the other side doesn't know that yet. Maybe they're going to find out. But we do have 2 big alliances in this house. One primarily run by Cirie and Izzy. The other one run primarily to Riley and Jag. The only people right now who aren't part of either one of those 2 alliances are Kirsten, who no one's even worrying about because they don't think she'll have any impact because they're so certain that she's going home. And the other person that's not officially aligned with either side is Luke. And as a result, Luke is now getting schmoozed by both sides who want him to join their group and be a big number for them going forward. And when you're so tight in terms of numbers, yeah, every vote counts. So yeah, Luke's kind of in a special position right now because he's the lone wolf, I suppose. But here's what's interesting as well with these 2 alliances. Both sides think they have the majority, think they have the numbers because of their inclusion of Jared. Again, the handful, the family, so the family style Riley's and Jag's group think that Jared's with them, which gives them 8 people, gives them the numbers, when in reality, we know that Jared's actually working with Izzy and Cirie. So one side thinks they have the numbers, they don't. The other side knows that they've got Jared. We'll see if that comes into play at some point in time. There is so much opportunity this year right now for hinky votes. There are so many people, because these sides are so somewhat balanced, 1 or 2 people throwing a hinky vote could completely flip an eviction and lead to all kinds of finger pointing and chaos and everything else. We'll see if anyone takes advantage of that opportunity or not. It could be, everything about the season so far suggests it could be a lot of fun as we go further and further into it. All right, I reported a few comments yesterday and certainly into the evening as well. I reported yesterday that Corey and Hysam had met, tried to hash out their dislike of each other. It must have worked. Maybe it worked. Maybe they're just playing each other. But they now are at least theoretically working together They're discussing trying to grab hold of Luke as well as a third partner, and the three of them somehow having this little secret group that maybe they can run some things and take advantage of the two big groups fighting against each other. I still think that they're probably just talking over each other. They're playing each other. I don't think Hassam really wants to work with Corey or vice versa, but they are have-nots together. So they spend every night together in that upstairs have-not room. Sometimes, what's that story about? Bedfellows make strange allies. I don't know. It could be them sharing a room together has led to a little bit of conversation, even if they haven't necessarily gotten along so far. So I don't know, but they are talking about potentially working together, just to take advantage, watching out for each other and maybe making something happen. Speaking of Luke, again, the guy who's getting schmoozed with everyone, he decided, he had people like Riley, or Felicia, I think, who had said, it was with Riley, said, you need to start having more conversations with people, get more involved with the game. He must have taken that to heart, because now he is trying to have one-on-one conversations with just about everyone. And he's told a lot of people, said, look, maybe I wasn't really playing the game. I was kind of just off somewhere else, but I want to play the game. I want to figure out what's going on. So he's having all these one-on-one conversations. You would think he's the HOH, not the guy that no one's paid attention to before now. But he's having one-on-ones with everyone because, again, everyone wants him on their side. He listened to everyone. For the most part, everyone acted agreeable. They kind of downplayed the fact that they were strongly involved with any kind of alliance and everything. And they just kind of said, oh, we like you and I'd love to have you working with me and all of that. I'm glad that you came to us, had those conversations. But right now, no real indication of which side he's going to declare allegiance to. I kind of think, based on some stuff that happened later in the evening, and we'll talk about that, based on some stuff that happened later in the evening, I think it's more likely he would end up on Cirie's side and working with Red and some of the folks over there. But we'll talk about that. Just hold on a second, we'll talk about that. All right. Meanwhile, I mentioned Cameron and everything that happened. I don't know what his deal was. The swimsuit shot, apparently there's several people that mentioned last night, everything seems very chill until they got through with the swimsuit shot, and all of a sudden just people start getting paranoid. They start talking to each other, which is funny because normally, or at least in my season, I think a lot of seasons based on people I've talked to, while you've got the outside, you're early in the week, people tend to chill out more, not less. And then once you get locked back into the house come Tuesday, then people start spending a lot more time strategizing and everything. Well, they jumped the gun. They did it very quickly because, again, Cameron's doing all kinds of stuff. Cameron, who is part of Riley's family-style 8-person alliance, and he's also part of the smaller handful alliance that's within that group. He tried to convert Izzy to his side at one point in time, saying, we'd love to have you on board and all that. Well, it wasn't a very convincing pitch, and Izzy is not who he's going to bring on to his side at all. It went nowhere. And as soon as that happened, Izzy wasted no time reporting Cameron's pitch to her, letting Izzy talk to Cirie, if I had said, saying what happened and all that. Maybe that triggered something. Maybe Cameron realized that he wasn't going to be able to get her on board. Throughout the day, throughout the evening, as he started talking to different people, realized that maybe there were more numbers than he thought, because at some point he kind of abandons this approach. Izzy's getting worried on her own. Again, there's a lot of paranoia going on. Izzy's getting worried because she has heard that she's a potential target for next week from the other side. Well, yes, she is, and that's what happens when you play the game hard and you talk to everyone and you try to bring them all in. That's what happens. So yes, Izzy is correct, but she is upset that her name has been mentioned. She's mad at Riley because she feels like Riley is really pushing to go after Izzy for that. So she's mad at Izzy, or she's mad at Riley. Riley is mad at Izzy because she believes that Izzy is the one behind the rumor that Riley threw the veto competition, which she does not want to hear. She doesn't like people saying she threw it. I don't know why she is so hung up on that. She just keeps bringing it up again and again. But she thinks that Izzy's the one behind that rumor, and so she's upset with her that they just don't like each other at this point in time. They're on different sides of the alliance, right? But Izzy says, I'm going to meet with Riley. We're going to hash this thing out. I want to talk to her. I was kind of excited for that conversation. Let the fireworks begin. It was kind of boring. They did meet with each other. They at one point, Izzy did say, let's cut through the BS, because Riley's just talking in non-anything. Just, I respect you, I like you, and we're all good. And Izzy did say, just cut through the BS. We know that there's people working in different groups and everything, and just because we're on different sides, if we are, doesn't mean that we can't still respect each other and blah, 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 blah. Everything she said, Riley would just say, the same. I feel about you the same way, Izzy, and I agree 100%. And they were trying to be so vague and not give information to each other that in the end, it was kind of boring. Nothing really happened whatsoever. So that was it. It didn't lead to anything at all. Now, Izzy did say that if she wins HOH, that putting Riley up as a nominee wouldn't even be a consideration. Riley said the same thing about Izzy. If she can't play HOH this week, but on down the road, if she wins HOH, she's not going to consider Izzy for nomination for going on a block. Liars. Yeah, lie on a bed of lies, both of them. Absolutely, they're going to go after each other if they get the chance. But again, they're not giving each other anything whatsoever during this conversation. Now, speaking of Riley, she and Jag, it's all a numbers game at this point in time. That's certainly their thinking. And they're worried because, well, first of all, Riley and Jag, don't realize that they've already lost Red. That Red's already with Cirie and company because they're still thinking they may be able to get Red. They think that they still... they really want to bring Luke to their side as well to make sure that they've got the numbers. They're already an 8-person alliance, but they want to make sure they've got as many numbers as they can. But they are, here's the thinking on this. I said it's all about numbers, and for the most part it is, but here's their thinking on trying to get Red and Luke to their side. They're thinking about competitions. They think these two guys could be comp beasts. They think they have Jared, who they consider to be another comp beast. And so they're really hoping if they can grab all of those types of players to their side, that numbers or not, if they can control the HOH going forward, that they could slowly pick off and take out Cirie and Izzy's alliance. So they do want to have the people that they think are going to do the best at challenges on their side. The reality though, Cirie and company are going to be okay. They've got Houseguests, they've got Jared, they have Red now. Luke, I think they may get. There's plenty of people on that side who can win very athletic challenges. There are certainly people who can win intellectual challenges as well over there. They're going to be fine on HOHs going forward. But Riley and Jag talk about that and really wanting to get these folks over. Riley has mentioned a couple of other things. She talked to Blue. She mentioned to her that if their side wins HOH, Izzy and Houseguests need to go on the block. Yeah, I thought Riley said that wouldn't even be a consideration when she talked to Izzy. Imagine that. So yeah, she's telling Blue, Izzy and Houseguests have to head out the door. Remember, Riley at one point had said that she had to Jag. She said she had kind of this secret alliance with Felicia and Cirie. So their names aren't being mentioned, but Izzy's certainly is. She mentions to Blue about her conversation with Izzy, and that she's also acknowledging or recognizing that the other side knows about their alliance. They know about the handful. They know about the family style and everything else. Well, yeah, they know about it. You told them all your connections already, Riley, but it's starting to dawn on her and a lot of her other alliance members that it's not as secret as they thought it was. When you have 8 people in an alliance, it's tough to keep secrets. That's one of the hard parts about having an alliance that big is you can't really believe that everyone is going to stay 100% loyal and not say a word to anyone else. So that is starting to dawn on them. She realizes that the other side knows about it. We have another alliance that's formed. Do we need another one? We've got several that have been proposed now, but we have one that is formed. This one is called the Brown Sugar Babes. Brown Sugar Babies. I think it's Brown Sugar Babes. It consists of Felicia, Cirie, Nicole or Mimi, and Jared. So the 4 remaining Black House guests once Kirsten leaves, and again, no one's even considering her. So the 4 remaining Black House guests have come together to form the Brown Sugar Babies, just to watch out for each other going forward. All right, we've got Jared. Still, I said a while ago, Jared was talking to a lot of people, playing a lot of game, maybe needed to chill a little bit. He actually has pulled back a little bit. I think some coaching from Cirie has helped because he's not nearly as energetic as he was. He's still doing some talking, but maybe he's just over. His seems like nothing compared to some of the other folks like Izzy and Cameron right now. But Jared is talking to Cirie and saying, look, Izzy needs to chill out because right now she is a key target on the other side. That alliance recognizes Izzy is doing all the work over here. They want to come after her. She better chill out or she's going to be in trouble. Cirie, understanding how these games work, is quick to point out and say, well, yeah, but if Izzy chills out and is less of a target, who becomes the new target? Yeah, it very easily could be Cirie. I mentioned yesterday, and I think this just hits home, that Cirie is happy to call the shots from behind. Let Izzy be the figurehead leader of their group, and let Izzy attract all the arrows that are launched their way, become the primary target. Well, here's a perfect situation. Jared is recognizing Izzy is the target. Cirie's happy with that. Cirie wants to work with Izzy, I think, or she is forced to because Izzy knows about the secret between Cirie and Jared. But she is happy to let Izzy become the target because it protects Cirie. And if Izzy goes home because of it, well, there goes the one person who knows the secret between about Jared and Cirie. So Cirie says, yeah, no, maybe I don't want her to chill. Let her continue to attract all the attention going forward. I think it works perfectly for Cirie. All right, we've got Felicia talking to Jared and reporting that Blue and America and Jag have all approached her about working with them. I just don't think that Riley's side of the house understands the power structure of Cirie's alliances. It's not going to do a lot of good to try to pitch to Felicia of the people on that side of the house. I just don't think they understand who is actually in power, who's the inner core or not. Now, Jared does tell Felicia during this conversation that Riley is the one running everything, that she's really the key person in that group over there, which we knew, and I think that side probably knew, but Jared is confirming as well. All right, we've got Red and Kirsten talking. Here's the thing. I'm not talking a lot about it. Kirsten has been trying to go around and campaign a little bit. She just doesn't seem to be really into it, and I understand why, because she knows what's going to happen. And everyone she talks to, they're all very empathetic, I suppose. They're very sympathetic, but they're certainly not giving her encouragement that there's any way she's going to stick around. They're all saying, oh, we love you, and, just talk to everyone, let them know your position, and best of luck to you, but it's not going anywhere. But I did want to mention this because I thought it was interesting. Red and Kirsten are talking. Both of them acknowledged that they were recruited for the show. Neither one of them are huge fans. They were both contacted by the show to go on the show. So yeah, it's always interesting to find out who actually was a passionate fan that applied to go on versus those who were found on Instagram, Twitter, etc. So these two were recruited. All right, let's start talking about Cameron, because as the night wears on, he just a downward spiral. And unfortunately, as Cameron spirals down or up, hurricane, tornado, typhoon Cameron, he's taking a lot of people with him on both sides, but primarily on Riley's side. So we've got Cameron talking to Izzy. he's saying, look, it's clear we've got two sides right now, right? And Izzy understands that as well. He says that Riley isn't really a ringleader, and what he means by that is that he's saying, look, over here on the other side, Izzy, it's all these kids got together, young versus old. We keep hearing that. He says all these kids got together just because they thought it was all about numbers. They just came together because they thought as long as they had enough of numbers, enough majority, everything would be good, everything would be cool. So he's saying Riley, she's not a ringleader. She's not doing all these strategic decisions. She's just the HOH winner the first week of a group that's all about the numbers themselves. And I thought that was a fantastic thought or point to make is I do see that from that side of that they've been so focused. And at one point, Riley, I think yesterday or the night before, had said, as long as we've got the numbers, they'll do whatever we want them to do because we control the house. Well, yeah, that it is all about the numbers for them right now. That may be getting ready to change, because sometimes you don't have the numbers, and then what do you do? So he mentions that. Now here's the thing: Cameron is part of Riley's side, right? Or he's supposed to be, and yet he is really trashing that side of the house. He's listing all the members of the alliances over there. He's talking about handfuls, family style. He's just spilling the beans on everything, coming clean on everything whatsoever. Eventually, he says that he's not leaving his boy Red, who is now with Cirie and company. So he's saying he's not leaving. He's not leaving Red behind, and he's also saying that if Riley and all of her folks are counting on Cameron's vote going forward, that they're making a major mistake banking on him. Certainly sounds like he's wanting to flip to the other side, right? Yeah, I think so. Izzy outright says at one point that she wants Cameron to come over with them, that she also wants Jared and Corey coming over as well. So Cirie's side, Izzy's trying to get the numbers as well, but she wants Cameron in, absolutely. She better hope Cameron is sincere, because she's really trashing Riley and that group as well. If Cameron went back to Riley and reported all of this, it could create issues for Izzy. Now, Cameron did go back. He did talk to Riley, but not necessarily about being trashed by Izzy or anything else. He had all kinds of other information that we'll talk about. Later, Izzy mentions to Jared, then mentions that she's how mad she is that Cameron not only talked about everyone from the other side of the alliance, but also basically called out the Professor's alliance. He knows there's two sides. He knows who's over on the Riley side, so therefore it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out who's on the other side. But Izzy is still upset that Cameron kind of spilled the beans on their side as well to her. It's interesting. Cameron really seems like he wants to make this transition. Later, he talks to Cirie and Felicia, are both in there, and says the same thing. He kind of wants that he wants to come with the people he trusts, that he should have been on this side the whole time, and he didn't. He starts crying a little bit as he tries to position himself into the other side of the house. So yeah, so some comments from Cameron right here. Later, Cameron is talking. There's going to be a lot of paragraphs. I'm starting off here with Cameron is talking for the rest of the evening. Later, Cameron is talking to Hassam about an idea of Cameron and Corey and Jared all flipping, giving Cirie's side of the house the majority. So not only does he want to flip, but he wants to bring a couple of these other guys with him as well. He doesn't understand that Jared's already with the other side, but he wants to do that and bring Corey as well. Now, Hassam says to Cameron, he says, look, you understand, right, that if you flip, if you come over to our side, that means that you're going to have to go against Riley. Y'all aren't going to be on the same side anymore. And Cameron says he's fine with that. It's time to kick her out of the nest. It's funny. At one point, Cameron, I think it's Felicia he's talking to. I'll check my notes again. But he's talking about Riley and saying that, look, Riley is like a daughter. She reminds me of my daughter. She's like a daughter to me and everything else. So I hadn't seen as much the tight bond between Cameron and Riley that maybe other people have recognized. Hassam saying, you're going to have to get rid of Riley, right? You're going to have to cut ties. And he's saying, yeah, I'm ready to do it. So I guess they were tighter than maybe I noticed. But Cameron is saying, I'll do what it takes. I want to come over with y'all. This other side, it isn't for me. As it turns out, I think everything that's happened now and going forward is Cameron suddenly realizing that the other side doesn't have the numbers. He wants to be the first guy off the Titanic. He wants to make sure that he jumps early enough that he gets a lifeboat for himself. So he's ready to abandon everyone else, leave them behind. He's going where he thinks the power is going to be going forward in the game. And that's creating all kinds of chaos. All right. I mentioned we had the Sugar Brown babies that formed. We've got another alliance that's being proposed. This is a doozy. This one was being suggested by Cameron to Red. Red was kind of with them, but it's Cameron's idea. He's pitching to Red and Hassam saying, look, it's going to be the three of us. It's also going to be Bowie, Corey, Izzy, Jared, Cirie, Felicia, and Nicole. Yeah, that's a lot of names. Just so you don't have to add them up. That's 10 people. A 10-person alliance. A 10-person alliance. That means there's only 6 people who aren't in the alliance once Kirsten goes home. So basically everyone except Luke and America and Jag, Riley, Blue, and Matt. So kind of the 5-person handful alliance on the other side, plus the addition of America, is who would be left out of this new 10-person alliance. Hey, if you got 10 people, I guess you do have the numbers right. So Cameron has proposed this. Red and Hassam then go back and report this proposal to Cirie and Izzy. But as they hash it out, they all pretty much agree that, yeah, we don't really need that many numbers. I think we're kind of good with the professors the way we've got it now. Will they be willing to bring Cameron in to the alliance? Yeah, sure, for now, if it means a vote to protect him and all of that. But Cameron would be low on the pecking order. He'd go when they needed him to go. The last thing they want to do is bring over several additional people and have it a new alliance and have them thinking that they're going to be protected. Nah, it's not going to work. They're going to bring over a couple of people to help with the numbers, but they've decided that this isn't really where they need to go with this thing. They also agree if they're going to do that. Later, Cirie is talking to Felicia, I believe, and saying, look, we need to be careful because Hassam and Red, they kind of just brought Cameron in and said he's part of us, which, okay, that's fine. But we've got to be careful because those guys could kind of bring in a good old boy vibe to some degree. And Felicia mentions as well, that's kind of why we got the brown sugar babies. You know, we've got to protect Jared as well and all of that. So they're a little bit worried about too many people coming in to this alliance and maybe upsetting the balance that they've already got in place. Later, Cirie is talking to Nicole or Mimi about Cameron's proposal, and they've basically decided that Cameron probably isn't serious, that he's just playing Red a little bit, trying to get Red attached to him somewhat. They don't think that's a serious proposal. I kind of think maybe, at least in Cameron's eyes, maybe it is. I feel like Cameron has decided he's going to be the puppet master, that he's going to control everything that takes place this season. As part of that, if he's the person that organizes this huge alliance, then he's going to be somewhat in charge of everything else. So is that alliance valid? Nah, it's not. But I'm not sure that Cameron doesn't think that potentially it is. All right, Cameron again. Cameron's certainly busy this evening. After all of these conversations with Cirie and Izzy, Cameron has spilled the beans about everything on that side of the house. He then goes back to Riley, not to spill the beans on what he learned from the other side. God, that'd be too easy, too simple. Now, he goes back and basically says, look, you don't have the numbers. I've done some checking. He even basically gets to the point of saying, I told them. I came clean. I told them everything about over here because we don't have the numbers. He said, you can either just stick where you are and you're going to get picked off. You're the main target, Riley. This isn't going to work for you. You were all about the numbers. Well, the numbers aren't working with you. So he says, you don't have the numbers. You need to consider other options. And the other options is join us. It's like the Borgs from Star Trek. You need to join us. Come clean. Spill the beans to Cirie. Beg for forgiveness. Tell her that whatever she needs to hear. Abandon Jag and America and Blue and all of them. Come over while you still can. Get on that lifeboat before all the seats are taken and you're stuck with it, just like Leonardo DiCaprio. You can't do that. You got to come over right now, Riley. So he's very much abandoning that side of the house and suggesting that Riley do the same thing as well. So maybe he's not quite ready to kick her out of the nest just yet. He just wants to find a new nest for the two of them to hang out for a little while. So he wants to basically abandon the group. Here's the thing. If Riley does that, all she's going to do is alienate everyone in the house. It's not like Cirie and Izzy and all of them are going to suddenly be buddies with Riley. It's not going to work. But what it does mean is that now Jag and America and Blue and Matt and all of them, they also may be targeting Riley. They're not going to be happy with her either. So I think if she does this, it just makes the situation worse for her. Her better option is to hope that even if the other side has the numbers, that doesn't mean that Jag couldn't win HOH. Take out one of the other side anyway and make things happen. It's not always all about the numbers. It's more about who owns the HOH for that particular week. I think she's got to focus on that more so than this pie in the sky. I'm going to just confess my sins and we'll all be good over there. Now, having said all that, she does feel like she's got this little secret connection with Felicia and Cirie. So perhaps there's part of her that thinks that there's something still to be salvaged if she can work with that side. I don't know. We're going to find out, but it was pretty crazy. All right, we also have, what else did Cameron talk about? Cameron mentioned that Jared isn't loyal to the family side of the alliance, that he's probably going to be over on the other side instead. It's a rough night for Riley. She's HOH, but she's going to finish this HOH feeling like she is at the bottom of the heap and that everything is going horribly wrong. She's like one of the presidents. After 4 years, they've aged 50 years. I feel like Riley is heading that direction right now. It's been a tough week for Riley. HOHs aren't always what you dream about, right? But he says, you can't trust Jared. He's not loyal to our side anyway. He tells Riley, he tells Riley that everyone is worried about a showmance between her and Matt. Really? I hadn't heard that. I hadn't seen that at all. But he says, everyone's talking about showmance between the two of y'all. You need to stay away from Matt. You got to stay away or they're going to keep saying that, Riley. Which makes zero sense to me unless Cameron, for whatever reason, just feels like Riley and Matt are getting too close and he would just soon have them not close. And I'm not going to make too many assumptions about why he may not want them getting too close. But he says, stay away because people are worried about showmance. Now, we're not worried about showmance. If you want to go for it. But no one in that house is too worried right now about that taking place. So that was kind of interesting. And we have a little bit of controversy as well because Cameron at one point talking to Riley, he's saying, I don't ever speak in concrete terms and you shouldn't either, Riley. And that's a valid thing. Don't ever just absolutely give fact, haw around when you can everything. He says, you shouldn't either. He says, but I can't hit you on TV, so not a good look for Cameron. Apparently, he talked about that he couldn't hit her on TV twice. I only caught one. I looked for the other one. I couldn't find it. But apparently, he said that two separate times that because they're on TV, he can't hit her. Not good. I have a feeling that he'll certainly catch a lot of reaction on social media for that, as he should. I have a feeling there may be a little discussion with inside the diary room about what may be considered appropriate and not appropriate. I'm sure he meant it as a joke, not really something you joke about. So not a good look for Cameron on that particular deal. But crazy night, just an absolutely crazy night. And then finally, we've got to just kind of finish this thing up. Hassam and Izzy are talking to Luke. Hassam tells Luke that Riley had planned for Luke to be the renom if the veto had been used by Hassam. This should fire up Luke. Remember I said that Luke really hadn't committed one way or the other? The fact that it looks like everyone's abandoning ship on Riley's side, and now that Luke has found out that Riley was going to go after him if she couldn't go after Kirsten, between the two of those, why would Luke stick around? I think he's much more likely to go over and hang with Red and everyone else if the other side will have them. So I have a feeling, again, everything is shifting against Riley and her group and in the favor of Cirie and Izzy and Felicia and that whole side of the house. So there you have it, guys. A lot taking place in this house for a Monday night. We still have 2 or 3 days before the eviction. By the time we get to Thursday night, everything could be upended. We could have whole new alliances, groups, and everything else. We may have a core group of 4 or 5 people that are desperately trying to win the HOH to stay alive, and then everyone else on this other side. I don't know. It's going to be a fun 48, 72 hours. All right, guys, I'm going to shut it down starting tomorrow. I'll be back home. I'm looking forward to a bunch of live feeds between now and then. Y'all have a fantastic Monday until tomorrow. Or it's Tuesday. Yeah, Tuesday. Y'all have a fantastic Tuesday until tomorrow morning. SKD 143. Cheers, my friends. Bye.